Before we jump into this week's video, I think it's important for you guys to understand that we are finishing and correcting a project that I actually started last year at this time. So to give you some history of what's going on, I think we need to go back in time to May of earlier this year. I had such plans for this area last year. I dug up all the hostas, I divided them, I planted this allium in between each of the hostas, expecting to get these great big purple balls, and I thought it would be stunning. So English cottage garden looking, but I've got to be honest, I'm rather disappointed. While these alliums are great and they're thriving, they're not the color purple I was looking for. They're actually a little too dark. I think they get lost in the garden. You don't see them as much as you would if they were pale purple. What do you guys think? I think they get lost. I might have to dig them out. That's right, we're digging up the alliums, and I'm going to be replacing them with this allium party balloons. Now these alliums are supposed to get to be about 16 to 24 inches tall, and the flower heads are supposed to be 8 inches across. So let's hope that these are more the lighter color purple that I really was looking for. Now another thing, this video is being filmed over a couple days. I may have to narrate some of it because the weather has been iffy and we've had a lot of stuff going on. So I hope you enjoy this video. Please be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, be sure to add them in the comments. Here we go. Hi everybody, welcome to the garden. Today we're going to tackle planting the alliums, but before we do that, we have to do some hosta transplanting. And I have my nice neighbor Matthew here who just stopped by, and if you stop by my house, I put you to work. So he's going to be digging up the hostas and dividing them. I'm going to be clipping them down, and then we'll dig up the allium bulbs, and maybe we'll get to be planting some more allium bulbs. All right, so the first thing we need to do, Matthew, is we need to cut down the hostas. This will just make it a little bit easier to see what you need to dig out. And the reason we're digging out the hostas is because I have two that are really big here and I have two over there that are really small. I want to divide these and transplant those little small ones and get them out of there. So as close to the edge here as you can. And just put your weight into it. Nice and hard. You might have to jump. There you go. That's the sound of getting in there. I truly appreciate it when Matthew stops by and lets me put him to work. Sometimes it's nice to have company in the garden, and sometimes it's just nice to have a young person that can do some of that heavy lifting. You're going to hack this in half, straight down through, so we want two pieces. We're going to end up putting one piece here and one piece right where you dug that one out. Yep. Now, when you do this, you're going to do it one-handed. This hand stays way far away. That way you don't end up with just one hand.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're just going to go through and just keep beating until you get all the way through it.
Okay.
Okay? You might have to get in there at times and pry it apart. So now you're going to plant it back in the hole. We're going to add in a handful of fertilizer just to get these things going good. You're going to put this back in the hole and you want to bury it. You can see where the level where it was already. So you just want to put it in there and then move some soil around it so that there's no air pockets around it. And then do the same with that one. Okie dokie.
Okay.
I can't believe how time flies. I have known Matthew his entire life. When he was a little kid, he used to come over to the house here and we used to go inside, play games, and we put the Shrek CD on and we dance and jump around on all the furniture. Then when he got a little bit older, I had him help me clean out the fish pond. He had so much fun scooping the fish and the frogs. And now it's so nice when he stops by every once in a while to help me. While Matthew is busy digging up, dividing, and then replanting the hostas, I'm going to tackle the alliums. Last year, I planted the allium in between each of these hostas. So what I have to do now is dig them all out. I have some buckets. I'm going to go in and dig all the soil out in between the hostas to get as many of those allium bulbs as I possibly can. I'm going to transfer all that soil into the buckets, and then I'm going to be sifting that soil later to make sure that I have no little allium bulbs left in there. Well, there's no way I'm going to be able to finish this project today, and they're calling for rain over the next few days. So what I've decided I'm going to do is leave the allium and the soil in the buckets. I've covered those buckets with plastic bags so the rain can't get into the soil. And since it's supposed to rain for the next couple of days, my thought is if I really want to get out and get my hands in the soil, I can drag those buckets of soil in the garage and I can sift through it there. So I'll either do it in the garage or I'll do it outside, depending on what the weather gives us. To sift the soil, I've made a simple little frame and I put some hardware cloth over the top of it. I just screwed the frame together and then I stapled the hardware cloth down into place. Now this is a beat up piece of hardware cloth, so it's got some snags in it, might have some wire sticking up, so I'm definitely going to be wearing gloves when I do this project. To screen our soil, we're simply going to dump it onto the screen. I have a bucket for the large debris, and then I have a bucket down here for the allium. We're just going to move the soil back and forth, and our screen is about 1/4 of an inch. It's fine enough that the sand and the small particles will go through, and the larger particles will stay on top. Now, a couple things. I am not responsible for any of the words or the sounds you're hearing behind me in the garage. It's football season, and I don't think our team is winning. The other thing is, I apologize that the videoing and the sunlight is awful bright, but this time of year it's just too chilly to work in the shade, so we're just out here where the weather is still kind of nice. I hope you can see how tiny some of these are. They're about the size of a pea. Now some of them do come out like this. This is the original, this is the mother bulb, and then these are all the little bulbettes that formed over the year. But you can see that if I leave these in the ground, there's a good chance that they will sprout over time, and eventually I'll have 2 different kinds of allium, and I don't want that. Now as the sifted soil fills up my wheelbarrow, I'm simply going to scoop it up and put it back into these buckets. I will use this soil when I start to plant the other alliums. Well, it's 5 o'clock, it's officially sundown, and I am done for the day. My back is killing me. If I can give you one tip when you're sifting the soil like that, make sure it's up high so you don't have to bend over like I had to for so long. But we're going to call it quits for tonight. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I've covered this soil so it won't get muddy, and we will resume planting in a couple days when the weather allows. Now, I am sure that some of you think that I am totally crazy for going to all this work to plant these alliums. And you might be right, because realistically, putting different kinds of alliums all in one space could be quite beautiful. Unfortunately, these alliums that I put in last year were not only the wrong color, but they were too tall. That's why I'm hoping that these party balloons are going to be just perfect. They're only supposed to be 16 to 24 inches tall and a big 8-inch flower, so I think they're going to work out better, I hope. Cross our fingers. Now, when I was sifting through the allium bulbs, I just want to let you guys know that I'm normally not that kind of an anal person. I'm one of those out of sight, out of minds. You don't ever want to open a closet door in my house because what's behind it could scare you. The difference is when you put things in the ground, they can grow and multiply. Some things can become invasive. So I really watch my garden carefully. I don't really like things that reseed because I don't like seedlings and weeding. So that's why I went through all the trouble to sift through and pull out all those little bulbs, because I will put them someplace else, not sure where at this point, but I will use them, but they were just the wrong plant in the wrong place. So hopefully these are going to do the trick. And in case you're wondering where I got them, I picked them up from Bluestone Perennials. I'm just going to go through, open all of these up, and I'm pretty impressed with the bulb size. They're pretty good size right now. And we're just going to get them in the ground. I have a small window of opportunity. We're supposed to have heavy winds in about an hour, so I really want to get this project done. I was hoping to get out and do leaves today, but you really can't do leaves when it is windy. So we're just going to, hopefully we can cross this project off the list and we will look for another sunny day. Just heard a truck go up the road. I'm expecting a load of leaves to be dropped off by the county, and I thought maybe that was them. So I'm just going to finish opening these up, and then we're going to go and we're going to get them planted. And that shouldn't take that long. I'm going to be planting the alliums right back in the same holes that we dug the other ones out. Alliums are heavy feeders, so I'm going to give them a little dose of black cow compost in the bottom of the hole. I have a couple bags of this that I just want to get rid of before the winter, so this is a perfect opportunity to do that. According to the instructions, we want to plant them about 8 inches deep and about 8 inches across from each other. So space them 8 inches apart. And we're going to put the pointy side up. I'm going to have 3 alliums in each hole. And then I'm simply going to be able to take my bucket of sifted soil and dump that right back on top of where we had dug them out. And voila, those are all planted. Well, planting all those bulbs took no time at all. Now, unfortunately, I still have this great big huge bucket of allium that I need to put someplace in the garden. Not sure where they're going to go. You'll have to check back in the spring and see where I ended up putting them. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you have a good day, can get out into your garden and have some fun. Take care. Did I mention we were expecting high winds? We were out here working on some things and all of a sudden crash. I have a feeling it's not going to be long and this, oh no, crushed my boxwoods. But I don't think this tree is going to last much longer. That's okay. We can put something better in its place.